Hi, I'm Dirk, recent addition to Fateless. I love games with deep character customization and a lot of build variety. My favorite part is like the player expression, where kind of no two people have the same builds or strategies going on, and when a game actually allows you, I guess, the options and the tools to sort of really handle all the challenges like in your own way. So I don't know, just to me, like the personal player expression is very important, and I hope to bring that to our first game we launched. You guys can obsess over making your builds as much as I do. So my background before Fateless is I was in the Army and National Guard as a medic for 5 years, which you'd be surprised at how much time that allows you to sit in a Humvee and just play your PSP, which I did quite a bit back then, mostly Dissidia. And then after that, I was in worked for several large corporations doing purchasing, sales support, like new product development, product management. So I guess what that means is I highly value all your guys' feedback and read all the comments you guys post in the Discord. So all the good ideas that you guys have in there, which I've seen quite a bit of, we'll try to get it all into the game, I guess, in a really fun and cohesive way, so that you guys can all kind of feel proud to be a part of the making of the game when you see your idea brought to life in there. I got into making games back in middle school when we got our TI-80 series calculators that we had to buy for math class that were super expensive. And I remember I got the first game, I think it was like Penguins, and I thought like, hang on, you can play Game Boy tier games in class and it looks like you're doing your homework? All right, I'm all about this. So I got the instruction manual out, kind of dove into, I guess, learning basic for, for the calculator. Since there was no internet back then to share calculator games on, you had to kind of just use what was available in your local community. So I just made a bunch of my own games and then shared them with my friends, and we all had fun playing them. I was pretty satisfied with what I made back then. Like most of you guys, I got started gaming at a young age. Actually, as a toddler, when I go to my babysitter's house, she had an Atari, so I used to jump on that every single day. And so that's what I looked forward to, was hopping on with a joystick and the one red button, kind of leveling up my skills as a little guy. Eventually graduating into the Nintendo, and pretty much every single system after that, since my stepdad was a very hardcore gamer. I was one of those kids that had every single system with like every single game. And actually, at a pretty young age, I had to learn to get good, since whenever he'd get stuck, he'd have to help me beat the levels for him. So that was like how I got most of my time in when he was playing, was by just beating the stages for him. He couldn't. Besides that, I guess my favorite games growing up were a lot of the RPGs, like the Final Fantasy series, starting on Nintendo and then through the Super Nintendo, and then Shining Force on the Genesis. I love that game because just like a nice, good tactics game with a ton of characters. So every time you play through it, you can kind of try a different team out. And then on the Sega CD, I also played a lot of the Working Designs JRPG games, like Lunar. That was a really fun one. And then in middle school, I guess we got a PC for gaming, which is kind of an early adopter into that. So I was able to play a lot of Duke Nukem, which probably wasn't the best game for a kid to be playing, but I'll say it probably made me the man I am today. And then besides that, I actually played a lot of Diablo, which was a great game. I think everyone's played that. In the early days, there was a lot of duping, and then once we got the internet, you can go down and PK people with your duping gear. So it's good times there. And then in high school, that's, I guess, when my own personal gaming like really took off. Because the sophomore year, I was able to get a job doing web design for an e-commerce store back in the .com bubble. And then with that money, I bought my own gaming PC, and I got really into StarCraft, Counter-Strike, and actually Ultima Online. And played those a ton in school, or I guess when I should have been doing my schoolwork at home. After high school, I got really into competitive gaming, mostly with Smash Brothers Melee and Warcraft 3. Especially Warcraft 3, I put a lot of time into that one, and actually won the Illinois state qualifier for the WCG 2004 championship. So I'm pretty pleased with those results, including taking down one of my buddies who was like usually in the top 10 or top 20 on the NA ladder. Naturally, that progressed into games like Dota, then League of Legends, and then pretty much every other fighting game too that's ever come out. It's like half my Steam library is just a plethora of fighting games that put a little bit of time into, and I'm not too great at them, but I guess I have enough exposure to at least not be a huge noob. More recently, I've been into games like Destiny, Destiny 2, and then of course like Dark Souls and all the other FromSoft titles. I've got like probably thousands of hours in each of those. Just when I first jumped into Dark Souls, like, this game is absolutely amazing. Like just being able to make a build, to go through a game like that was really cool. But then the combat was actually felt really realistic to me. It reminded me of when I was doing jujitsu back in the military. Like the whole like stamina bar and then having to manage your stamina is actually very similar to just actual fighting. So I don't know. I was able to just play those games so much. Still do. Been playing through Armored Core 6 now. I've got like 20 different mechs I've made and take online. So yeah, have a good time with those. And then as far as mobile gaming goes, obviously I got into Raid Shadow Legends thanks to Sham. I guess when I had my son, I didn't have a lot of time for gaming, so phone game was kind of the best I had. He first was trying to get me into it. I'm like, what are you, sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends? Come on now. But then I started playing it, and then it was actually very fun. Like the way you kind of like put a team together and then build your collection and get more tools to beat harder content. Actually, to me, it felt like it scratched a lot of the same beats as Magic the Gathering. So yeah, besides video games, like I said, I played a ton of Magic the Gathering, starting back in middle school, and then went to actually. So what is surprising about a tournament is as like a young kid, I always was able to kind of fund my collection by winning tournaments, which is really nice. And then later on, playing Hearthstone on PC, which very similar as a free-to-play player. I was able to kind of go infinite in the arena. And I don't know, I guess I really appreciate the kind of mechanics that let your skill, I guess, win you rewards so you can build up your collection and kind of compete with the whales. So we'll be hopefully bringing some mechanics like that into the game we're working on now. So at Fateless, I'll be doing a lot of the design work, which is going to be taking a lot of the stuff from the comments, like I said, in Discord and our own internal brainstorming sessions, and sort of putting them on into documents for the development team to work on, which I've got experience on working with Sham back on Incarnate. So kind of seeing how that whole process works now, I guess, trying to make sure that the developers who actually are coding the game can kind of, I guess, bring to life, the ideas that everyone has in the brainstorming sessions. And so they actually kind of work out the way you envision them. Outside of gaming, like I mentioned, I've got a son, I've got a wife. A lot of my time is just taking him out, especially because my wife is currently in school out of state, working on a master's degree. So I had a lot of time just me and my son, just taking him out and trying to just show him a lot of new things outside. To make sure he's not in the house too much. As you can see, he wrecks it really quick. So the more I can keep him outside, the more the house isn't destroyed. I guess besides that, my hobbies other than gaming is I like I like running long distances and then working out. I'm not much of a gym guy, just kind of at home, and not a big sports guy either. I don't really care about any sports except maybe UFC sometimes. But I guess my big motivation for that is anime. Been watching anime a ton since high school, and I don't know, I actually got really into Naruto when I was like 21, and then it's kind of inspired me to start working out. Like trying to think like, man, what do I want to do in my life? Like I think I want to be a ninja, so I just put a ton of time into working out, and yeah, it's kind of been my big motivation is just pop on some anime and then just lift weights, whatever, do push-ups, stuff while watching it. And it was actually kind of what got me to go into the army in the first place too. It was like the best way I think you could be a ninja in real life. So yeah, that's pretty much what all of my time goes into is just gaming, anime, and working out. So if you guys feel those influences in the game, that's probably from me. So unlike most of the Fateless team, I'm not a content creator, so I hope you guys like the video. Although I guess technically I've made a few pieces of content. Like when I was in elementary school, I submitted a tip to the classified information section of Nintendo Power, where I wrote out how to do what I called the mushroom start, where when it counts down like doo doo doo. If you push the button, the accelerator at the right time, you'll get a boost start like a mushroom. So that got published actually in Nintendo Power. So some people say I'm kind of the father of the mushroom start. And then besides that, I once put out an audio commentary for Warcraft 3 for kind of a meme build that it was just mass raiders which at the time Raiders were a total joke, and then I commentated it in a pirate voice, so I called it the pirate strategy since you can get pillage. And it's kind of funny after that, that actually became like a meta strategy, going mass raiders against undead, which I think, since in my clan we had like 2 of the top 10 orc players in the NA ladder, they actually started using it and they kind of caught on. So yeah, I'm sorry to anyone who's ever gotten owned by mass raiders. I know it used to be a meme, but now it's the real deal. So yeah, so that kind of brings me to my final thing is I guess with games I really love making meme builds. So try to provide you guys with a way to let your memes become dreams. So let me know your favorite, I guess, meme builds from different games I might have mentioned here down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in future videos that we do with round tables with the Fateless team. Bye.